In a school where all the students are animals, two humans must navigate the twists and turns of school life. Get your biology books, cooking utensils, and flea collar ready, because it's time to enlist in Seton Academy. Join the pack. In an alternate world of humanoid animals, the human population has declined dramatically. Classes are about to start at Seton Academy, and all the animals gather in the main courtyard for the school start ceremony. However, among the students, the one who stands out the most is Jin Mazama, an ordinary human being and probably the only human in the entire animal school. While they wait, the courtyard is literally a jungle and one of the students hits Jin with a pineapple. Angry, Jin throws the pineapple, accidentally hitting Runka Kami, a wolf of short stature and very short-tempered. Runka attacks Jin and accidentally hits the fish tank where Director Amano and Anomalocaris, a species of prehistoric crustacean, is greeting, breaking the fish tank and scattering water in the director everywhere. Despite having human characteristics, students are not able to control their wild instincts, so they are quite prone to violence and lack of control, especially between species, so it is necessary to be part of a herd to have a somewhat tolerable experience. Jin, who hates animals, does not enjoy school at all and wishes they all disappeared. During lunch, Jin takes the bad side of the cook when he asks to cook the meat for him and only finds a free place, in front of none other than Runka, who recognizes him and threatens to attack him again. Jin, who does not want trouble, feeds him meat and the young woman invites him to join her pack, clarifying that he is not a dog, but a wolf. Jin meets Hino Atomi, one of Seton's few humans, and is immediately attracted to her. Sensing that she has a rival, Runka challenges Hitomi for Jin, causing her to flee. Jin refuses to join Runka's command and points out that the other students normally form packs with their own kind. Runka denies this, as once a human beat some bear cubs that harassed her, showing that species as diverse as humans and wolves can be friends, and part of the same pack. That night Jin realizes that it was he who tried to save Runka, but unlike how the young woman remembers it, in reality the bears beat him up, which provoked his hatred towards animals. Runka is upset when Jin forms a pack with Hitomi, although he actually only invited her to create a cooking club. Later, Jin sees how Randa is used as a servant by Mishima Kuro, a zebra girl. Jin defeats Kuro by revealing that zebras look more like donkeys than horses, and exposes Kuro's tail, which looks like a donkey. Seeing that Runka has not yet been accepted by any Manda, since there are no other wolves and the other companions are not interested in inviting them, Hitomi invites Runka to join the cooking club. While talking, the two are attacked by 3 bear children who plan to eat Hitomi, because apparently in this school that can be done. Runka attempts to defend herself, allowing Hitomi to escape before Jin neutralizes them with bear spray, but they recover by washing their eyes with water. The bears almost kill Jin, but are chased away by the giant Professor Gidesu Tarano, a T-Rex man. To thank her, Jin and Hitomi agree to join Runka's pack, only for her to agree by licking them both in the mouth like a wolf. Jin announces that Runka must pass a cooking test. Komori Yukari, a koala girl, appears out of nowhere and also asks to join. Yukari only eats eucalyptus, but thinks she once ate something else, but her mother refuses to tell her it was, so she wants to be part of the culinary club to search for that mysterious flavor. Jin, who does not want more people in a group because, although he tolerates Runka, his real goal is to be alone with Hitomi, decides to test Yukari, who cooks a dish that he garnishes with eucalyptus, which the group enjoys. Annoyed, Jin invents a second test and allows Runka to cook a vile dish that Yukari must eat to earn membership. The vile dish makes Yukari realize that the other thing she once ate was undigested eucalyptus from her mother's digestive system, part of a baby koala's diet. Kurumi Nekamai, a cat girl, uses a hypnotic purr to manipulate her entry into the club, although Jin is unaffected due to her racism being stronger than the cat's powers. The group is taking shape, but the ingredients for the kitchen are still needed, so Hitomi has the idea of asking the garden club to donate their fruits and vegetables, and they normally throw them away. Kurumi convinces the garden club, a group of wild boars, to supply them with vegetables. Back at the club, Kurumi tries to get everyone to leave the cooking club and create a sleeping club, but despite her the girls refuse, as they really want to be part of the cooking club, so the cat loses interest in the group and leaves. Ronka suggests inviting Mayubi Shirsho, a lazy girl. Professor Aramoto, a gigantic man-flies, threatens them to be Mayubi's friend, as her slow movements require a lot of help, and trying to move at a normal speed causes her body to overheat, which could cause her death. Ronka tries to help Mayubi take a bath, which forces Jin to save her, as sloths overheat easily. After an uncomfortable shower, Mayubi thanks Jin for letting her into the club. Jin, who had planned to refuse, guiltily lets her join. She also lets Kurumi join, as she knows she really wants to be friends with her, based on her feline attention-seeking behavior. Thus, the cooking club is formed, but the club's interspecies friendships draw the attention of the student council, which decides that the cooking club should be closed before it disrupts the school's ecosystem. At a public meeting with the rest of the students, the student council president, Miki Habaunau, warns the students to avoid unnatural interspecies relationships. Miki arrives at her office and undresses, revealing that she is a naked mole rat girl with an army of naked male mole rats who see clothing as unnatural and are embarrassed to be seen clothed by members of their own species. One of the rats, who along with her research team has been documenting the activities of the cooking club, shows Miki a video describing each of the members of the group, with the exception of Jin and Renka. Miki concludes that Jin is trying to set up a multi-species harem and sends his army to spy on him. Later, while at the cooking club, Jin is kidnapped by King Shishino's harem of lion girls. King admits that he has fallen in love with Shiho, an Impala girl, and asks Jin for advice on interspecies relationships. Jin discovers that King has never spoken to Shiho and suggests that he talk to her in person. Unfortunately, Shiho's prey instincts kick, and every time King approaches her, and she runs away when she sees him. A group of male lions suddenly challenge King for his harem, revealing that they have taken Shiho hostage and threaten to devour her. King proves his dominance by defeating them all and then confronts the leader of the enemy group, but instead of attacking him, he surprises everyone by cutting off his impressive black mane, which causes his harem to lose interest in him. In this way, King manages to confess his feelings to Shiho, but although she rejects him for not being in heat, she is willing to be friends until she is ready. After watching the video with this story, Miki is convinced that Jin is manipulating the students to form interspecies couples, so she decides to confront him. First, she summons him to her office, but he ignores her, so she has no choice but to put on some clothes and go to meeting. On the way, Miki's rats confront the cat Kurumi and sacrifice themselves for their queen so that Miki can go to their meeting. Miki arrives at the club room and, more relieved, she takes off her clothes and in her underwear orders Jin to disarm the cooking club. However, when Ronka saves the mole rats from being eaten by Kurumi, her actions convince Miki that there is nothing unnatural about being friends with another species. Miki decides to leave but will continue to keep a close eye on Jin. After King cuts off his hair, his throne becomes available, and the males of the school start to fight amongst themselves. Ronka's giant older sister, Pharaoh Okami, arrives at Seton but is nervous to see her little sister. Pharaoh visits the cooking club where, after a happy reunion, she asks Ronka to return to her pack. Ronka refuses, claiming she is Jin's wife, so Pharaoh decides to make Jin a member of the pack, until Ronka claims she hates Pharaoh, defeating her. Shiho temporarily breaks up with King to focus on club activities. Pharaoh is challenged by a young hyena named Aina Mataraba, but he ignores her. Meanwhile, several lion boys learn that Jin has defeated Pharaoh and decide to defeat him themselves. However, Lena defeats the lions and wants to fight Jin himself, until he points out that she is a woman and leaves. The next day, Lena decides to prove to Jin that he is a male since he has suffered the stigma of looking like a female when he is actually a male, since, in this world, for some reason, females have humanoid forms of sexy girls, but males look like animals with clothes on. the naked mole rats tell Mickey that Lena is causing trouble and show her a video of Jin pulling down Lena's trousers, which makes Mickey faint from shock. However, Mickey misunderstood, as the reality is that Lena is trying to pull down her trousers to show off her manhood while Jin tries to stop her. Jin reveals that female hyenas possess a false virile member similar to that of males, which makes them very easy to confuse, so Lena realizes that she is actually a female. Farrell decides that he is happy that Runka has formed her own pack, although he still hates Jin. Meanwhile, Lena tells her family that she has accepted being a female, and her family is happy that she has finally realized it, and they give her a female uniform they had been saving, and her brother even gives her a haircut. Aina, overwhelmed by so much change all of a sudden, goes back to calling herself male. The day of the school championship is approaching, and Runka wants the cooking club to compete, but everyone except Mayubi refuses. Runka and Mayubi begin training while helping the naked mole rats build the sports field. However, Mayubi's low energy slows down the rats' work rather than helping, but for some reason the rats see the lazy girl's willingness as a positive that inspires them to try harder. Seeing Mayubi's determination, Hitomi and Jin decide to compete. Kuro, now a friend of the donkeys, challenges them, as one of the prizes of the competition is for their group of card players to get their own hall, but Yukari points out that they don't have enough team members to compete, as they are disqualified before they even start. Mayubi somehow becomes able to run at normal speed, and although the group wonders what might have happened and Runka attributes the excess energy to training, the sloth soon passes out as it turns out she has a cold and the increase in her heart rate made her temporarily faster. With Mayubi unable to participate, the rest of the team decides to win in his honor. Despite their will, the cooking club loses all the morning trials, unable to compete with other species, especially the chimpanzee leader, the cheating Pansarahama, who is able to use tools. In the afternoon, as they are short of team members, Jin lets the donkeys join his team and may easily win a foot race up a snowy mountain after inspiring the donkeys by reminding them how Napoleon crossed the Alps on a donkey, so in this world Napoleon did exist and the donkeys were donkeys. Later Yukari surprisingly wins the arm wrestling match against the gorillas due to her powerful koala grip. Jin wins the endurance race, as humans have the most endurance of all mammals. The chimps drug Hitomi before he can compete in the swimming race, so Mayubi takes his place, as the sloths can swim. Mayubi takes the lead until Pan uses a boat to almost drown her. The whole crowd starts cheering for Mayubi and she manages to finish the race before fainting. Runka runs the last race through a jungle and wins after teaching Pan a lesson by threatening her never to hurt another member of the cooking club. The cooking club comes first and wins the field day, deciding to let the donkeys use part of their club hall as a thank you for their help. A panda girl named Mei Mei moves to Seton with her manager, a red panda man named Phone Phone. Mei Mei turns out to be a spoiled brat, who has been pampered all her life due to the rarity of her species, so she is used to having everyone do her bidding. As Mei Mei explores the school, a depressed king watches as Shiho gets along very well with another Impawa, which makes him very sad. Mei Mei disguises herself using hair stolen from King's Mu Mane, and after smelling a very tempting aroma, she visits the cooking club, rudely eats all the dumplings Jane has made, and then reveals that she is the new panda student. All the students are amazed to meet the new star of the school. However, Jane is immune to her charms, unimpressed, and throws her out. Never having been treated like this before, Mei Mei is embarrassed and confused. She bribes Yukari, Mayubi, and Runka to let her in, but Jane continues to treat her like a brat, insisting that she cook and clean up after herself. Phone Phone tries to clean up Mei Mei's mess, but Jane tells her that it's every man for himself, and though Phone Phone warns her that treating a panda badly is a capital offense in her country, Jane replies that she's not in China anymore, and things are going to be different. Mei Mei realizes that she secretly enjoys Jin's treatment of her. Looking for a way to expel the panda, Jin decides he needs the permission of all the club members, including Kurumi, who, like a cat, reacts negatively to strangers. To make Kurumi feel comfortable, Jin locks Mei Mei in a cage, something she also secretly enjoys, and Mei stubbornly insists on staying until Kurumi accepts her. The next day, Mei wakes up to find that she has been given a blanket and one of the naked rats on the floor, which is a gift from the cat to her. The rat returns to her living room, and the panda is accepted into the group, although Kurumi, being a cat, takes turns between being very fond of her and ignoring her completely, but the other members of the club explain to her that she is like that. Ronka explains that Mei must lick the mouth of the pack leader to join her, so Mei licks Jin, having mistaken him as the dominant male, and then gets angry when her mistake is explained to her. All the girls go to Seton Hot Springs, which Jin built, and it is revealed that it was Jin who gave Mei the blanket. Meanwhile, freshly shaven King becomes jealous after seeing Shio getting more and more affectionate with the Impala boy. Later, Aina has no idea how to act like a woman and decides to learn by stalking Atomi, whom she considers the best example of womanhood in the school. Teru Animetsu, a little honey badger girl, wants to join Farrell's pack after the she-wolf rescues her from bullies, but is rejected because the only female Farrell accepts is Ronka. Teru thus decides to defeat Ronka to prove her worth, but when she goes to confront her, she is distracted by chasing a bird. Aina tries to imitate Hitomi but ends up looking even more masculine. Hitomi takes her to the cooking club, where Jin criticizes everything about her. Yukari suggests Hitomi to act like Aina, but somehow it turns out to be very stimulating. Teru appears and demands Ronka to fight her and is kicked out by Aina, who throws her against a wall. However, the badger girl but appears to be uninjured. Aina temporarily becomes female but reverts to her former self after being shamed for her unfeminine digestive process. Teru tries to fight Ronka again, but suddenly the lion boys start bullying her and beat her for no reason, only to discover that her honey badger skin makes her invulnerable to injury. Tired of not being herself, Aina embraces her masculine personality again and defeats the lions. Ronka refuses to fight, so Aina challenges Teru. Teru uses the stink gas her body produces, accidentally defeating Ronka in the process. Seeing that his sister is in trouble, Farrell beats Teru for hurting Ronka, and Teru decides he likes her after feeling pain for the first time and asks her again to be part of his group. Farrell refuses, but seeing that his little sister is glad he invited a man-wolf into his pack, Farrell lets Teru stay to keep Ronka happy. Aina is happier as her old self and returns home, telling her father and brother that from now on she is a male, which the two hyenas accept without hesitation. However, his new closeness with Hitomi almost makes Jin jealous, and he fights with her for Hitomi. Meanwhile, King protects Shio from the boar boy's harassment, and she admits that she loves him, only that she was afraid of the interspecies relationship. King mistakes this for an invitation, only to be kicked in the face since Shio is not yet in heat. Jin's class is sent on a trip to Seton Academy. Shirami Kana, a beluga whale girl, fails to put on an impressive welcome show and runs away. I mean, all well and good with this series, I've seen worse, but they could have made the whale girl a bit chubby. I mean, she's a whale, but no, she's another beautiful girl, and Jin has to make it clear to us that she's a whale because this series has long since established its feminine standards. Ronka and Mei learn that Kana wants to join the school idols, a pack of dolphin girls. Banda Ruka, the leader of the dolphins, denies Kana entry to the swim club, as the beluga whales are slower than the dolphins, and try as she might, there's no way she could synchronize without the quality of the show suffering in the process. Jin tells Kana to put on a singing show, as beluga whales are excellent vocalists. Unfortunately, Kana is a terrible singer, so back to square one. That night, Jin is approached by Ruka who, due to the dolphins' unusual sleeping patterns, alternates between two personalities, one of whom tearfully asks him to tell Kana to quit, as a mixed-species show is impossible and would only humiliate her in front of everyone, which he doesn't want to see appreciates the little whale. His other personality takes control and demands that Jin stop Kana from participating, otherwise he will regret it. In the bats, Jin is frightened by a giraffe boy who is interested in him, as in many cases, male giraffes copulate with other males, and this giraffe has set his sights on our protagonist. As Jin returns home, having been freed from the giraffe, we assume he comes across Runka and Kana talking. Like Ruka, Kana worries that the separate species can't swim together, but Runka is confident that Jin's idea of singing will work since she got the girls from the cooking club to work together. Feeling guilty, Jin points out that Kama has been trying to sing with her mouth, but beluga whales actually sing using a special nasal cavity on the top of their heads. Kama and the cooking club put on a show when Kama manages to sing a beautiful song that resonates in the nasal cavity of Ruka's head, which makes Ruka realize that the emotional part of her brain wants to help Kama even more. Ruka's two personalities come together and decide that they want to dance. She and the other dolphins join the show with Kana directing them. The show is a success and Kana is invited to join the swimming club. Later, Jin almost has a chance to confess to the Tomi but is interrupted by the giraffe boy chasing him down the beach in the most terrifying scene of the series if you think about what will happen if he catches him. Mei Mei meets a nervous Tarsia girl named Seton Academy who, upon seeing her, violently bangs her head over and over again until she faints. Jin says that this is normal for Tarsias as her species bangs their heads to death when they are stressed. When Mei Mei asks what is stressful about her, Jin replies that everything in the panda is stressful and that she understands the Tarsia for wanting to die every time she sees her. Mei Mei doesn't want to accept that her presence is stressful and ends up befriending Monako, who is so happy that she tries to kill herself again, as that's the only way she knows how to deal with her emotions, positive or negative, but is stopped by Mayubi, who tells her to overcome her instincts. Shio tells King that she is finally in heat, but although she is willing to be with him, she insists that he meet her parents. Mickey considers retiring as council president. A typhoon floods the school's underground, forcing the species living in the tunnels to share dormitories with those on the surface, much to Jin's annoyance, who is reminded every now and then that he hates animals. Hitomi's new roommate is Hoshino Hana, a mole girl, while Mickey turns Jin's room into her office. She asks him if he wants to replace her, as she can cooperate with various species. Jin begins to imagine what he could do with such a power, get rid of all the animals and turn the institute into a human-only establishment, where he and Hitomi will be happy. However, he says all this out loud and Mickey takes his offer off the table. Later, all the students of the school have problems and come to Mickey, who takes care of them in his room and solves their every concern. Jin points out that Mickey works with more species, which means that he also forms cross-species friendships. Realizing that he is right, Mickey is so happy that she takes off everything, including her underwear, just as the cooking club arrives. Mickey clears up the misunderstanding with the girls, who take off their clothes to make Mickey more comfortable. Typhoon over, a new predatory girl arrives at Seton and immediately senses the presence of a human. Back to King's subplot, Shilo's parents decide to trust King, but only if he participates in the Impala tournament. The new girl, Anna Anatani, visits the cooking club and witnesses how Jin saves Runka, who is in her reproductive cycle, driving all the male dogs crazy with lust. Anna beats all the dogs with a stone spear. The cooking club thinks Anna is human and Hitomi is happy to be with another human. Jin hides Runka in his room, only to realize that being in heat means Runka is also mad with lust, so she pounces on him. Jin rejects Runka, claiming that he hates her, making her cry. Later, Anna tells Jin that she is interested in him, which he interprets as a confession, and rejects her, infuriating her. While spending time with Hitomi, Anna faints from hunger, so Hitomi feeds her large amounts of meat. A depressed Runka finishes her heat cycle and tells Anna that she is having problems with her human boyfriend. Anna advises her to leave him, as humans have caused the extinction of many species. Runka decides to confront Jin while Anna waits for them to argue and the herd to break up. However, when Runka confronts Jin, he admits that humans are cruel liars, which means he was lying when he said he hated her. With the cooking club back to normal, Anna angrily returns to her original school, the Seton Academy, and her team, the Alliance of Extinct Species, or Team EX, made up of several supposedly extinct species, who seek the complete destruction of the human race. When the leader asks if she has what it takes, Anna assures him that she can make humans extinct. Meanwhile, King competes in the Impala tournament and defeats Shio's father, who is convinced that King is a worthy son-in-law. However, the lion goes rogue and both Shio's father and mother knock King out after learning that he plans to mate with Shio as soon as possible. When the school festival begins, Anna returns to Seton and helps the cooking club serve the food to everyone. Aina also helps out, and she and Anna instantly dislike each other as they both have feelings for Hitomi. The rest of Teen EX arrives at the festival: Babari Atlas, the Barbary Lion Boy, Yang Yan, the Chinese River Dolphin Girl, Washima Komandorsky, the Stellar Sea Cowboy, and Ando Andrew, the Andrew Sarkis Boy, with the goal of wiping out humanity. Anna senses that her team has arrived and, not wanting Hitomi to get hurt, she knocks her out and tries to take her away, but Aina intercepts and fights her. Washima is distracted by the festival games. Ando mistakes Taro for a human and attacks her, only to get beaten up by Feral for wanting to hurt his badger companion. Yukari serves Yang Yan the meal and enjoys it as dolphins have no sense of taste, only to be horrified when Yukari says it is made of rabbit droppings and is also knocked out. Babari captures Jin and almost kills him, but King and Shio rescue him. Babari mocks King's love for Shio and slaps her, but King defeats him after Jin distracts him by pointing out that Barbary lions are not really extinct. Our heroes interrogate Babari and realize that Hitomi is in danger and search for her. Anna tells Aina that she wants revenge on mankind for driving her species to extinction, but Aina destroys her spear with her powerful jaw. Ronka arrives and convinces Anna to retreat by sniffing her and being able to say that she regrets her actions, then has faith that she will do the right thing. Later, a woolly mammoth that identifies as the head of the X team berates and for going soft and appears with giant strides. When Jin, King, and Shio arrive, Jin realizes that N is a Neanderthal, not a human. The huge woolly mammoth was an illusion and the real boss of Teen EX is Koromoto Man, a tiny mammoth girl, and what we are actually seeing was her menacing aura. Despite her size, Koromoto Man is incredibly strong, and she effortlessly knocks out King and Aina, immediately knocking them out. Jin temporarily neutralizes her by spilling Shio's bag of marbles as elephants avoid stepping on small objects, and then proposes to Koromoto to take on Ronka in a boxing match. Koromoto accepta, manteniendo a Hitomi como rihen y ofreciendo liberarla si pierde, pero pudiendo vengarse Jin y Hitomi si dana. Feral offers to take Ronka's place, but Ronka is determined. And remembers that Koromoto joined Teen EX to take revenge on humanity for driving them to extinction, but is conflicted when Hitomi says she still considers them friends even though she's not human since she always knew she was a Neanderthal and that didn't affect her affection. With Kuro as referee, since she is a zebra, so she has half a striped uniform, Ronka tries to avoid Koromoto's blows to tire her out, but any blow Koromoto lands causes her serious damage due to his immense strength. Between rounds, Anna tries to convince Koromoto that humans are not as evil as they thought, but she refuses to listen. Ronka is knocked out of the ring but beats the count of 10. Jin cheers Ronka up, encouraging her and giving her energy back, while Anna tells Koromoto that they are no longer friends, depressing her. Ronka knocks out a demoralized Koromoto and wins. Washima, who after having fun on the rides remembers his mission, tries to attack them, but slips on the marbles and is knocked out. Afterwards, Teen EX reconciles with everyone and prepares a meal with the cooking club. As Teen EX leaves, Hitomi chats with Anna, telling her that she too, at first thought she would never integrate with the rest of her friends, but seeing the relationship between Jin and Ronka, she realizes that they can all be friends. Anna is happy, but also jealous when Aina interrupts her talk with Hitomi. Later, the cooking club finds King beaten up and says that Seton Academy is being attacked by the giant insect students from Fabre Academy. With this cliffhanger ends this curious story. I think there's an OVA in the works, but for now this is what we have. If you like this series and you like the summary, let me know in the comments. Also, if you want to recommend me any other series. For my part, I'll say goodbye until next time. See you.